I mentioned it in an earlier vlog that I've completely changed my cruise itinerary to include the port of Safaga in Egypt. Since I've mentioned this to a number of my dive colleagues, they've exclaimed to me excitedly that the Red Sea is one of the top diving destinations in the world, at least for tropical temperate waters. You'd be surprised to learn that Vancouver is actually the top cold water diving destination, according to such luminaries as Jacques Cousteau. Someone in my dive class has weaved a magical spell on me, trying to convince me to do my dry suit training so that I can cold water dive year-round in Vancouver. Right now I'm only doing open water, which means wetsuit. I'm frantically trying to squeeze in my ocean dives before I leave, because even though the plan is to just stay on land in Egypt and enjoy all of those famous destinations that Egypt has to offer, I'd like the option. From Safaga Port, if you organize efficiently, you can head back up to the pyramids of Giza, the Sphinx, and then down to Luxor for all of Luxor's charm. That's what I'm aiming to do. But since I have a wide overnight port, I might be able to dive at the very end, depending on how the actual progress of the excursion goes. I'm really thinking about it, because part of the reason why I chose to do open water is because I've had a number of opportunities that I've had to forego without the dive certification. For example, Belize is world famous for its mystical blue hole. Belize was still one of my favorite countries so far, because I interacted with a frenzied group of nurse sharks. Their sandpaper skin almost took my skin off as they rushed towards the feed that my tour guide was handing out. I remember at the time being comfortable enough with the water that, regardless of any seepage into my nose or mouth, that experience was top, and convinced me that maybe I do need that scuba diving skill. I still delayed by over a year as I bush camped through Africa and traversed 37 countries last year. Now I've taken the time off from adventure traveling to finally finish open water. The reason why I'm in the gym is because I thought I'd answer a couple of questions in regards to training for water and out of water sports. I'm rethinking that idea because what I'd like to do is show some fancier things that might tire me out, and I want to be ready in case I do ocean dive this weekend. I'm on a last minute cancellation list, which I'm quite confident I'll make onto it because I have a flexible enough schedule. Right now I've essentially gone back to basics, which is full backpacking planning mode. In some ways, I think, although I experienced some post-travel fatigue this year, that the time off helped me reassess and reaffirm my love for adventure travel and all things adventure. Do I want to do something? I always struggle with how to do the fitness vlogs because I find it difficult to stretch and talk at the same time because I usually like to integrate deep breathing. This is a different situation for me. Part of the reason why I wanted to film some of my fitness routine is because I've been asked and I've volunteered to teach yoga while abroad and while at home. Maybe I approach yoga differently than other people do, or maybe it's because I do it for free. Some people have suggested that I teach yoga professionally. While I'm flattered that they think I'm good enough to do so, I think I would want to combine yoga with something else. I have an idea to combine it with travel, mind mapping, and goal setting. I'm thinking about it. In any case, I have confirmed that open water is a good idea to do at your leisure, at home, when you have full focus. Because I've joined a flexible program that allows you to repeat pool modules until you're comfortable, I repeated module 5 of 5, which afforded me the opportunity to do the second version of the final exam. PADI has 2 versions. I purposely did both exams without studying because I wanted to test myself. How much do I know from just having read and exposed myself to the full course material? The reason why I'm using this standard is because quite literally in diving, my life is in my own hands. For me to have good marks means nothing if I lose my life or am seriously injured while diving. I'm happy to report that the good-ass student in me still persists. The first exam I scored 98%. The second exam I scored 100%. The pool exercises, however, have been a different story. Although I've passed all of my skills testing and pool testing, I have also practiced in my own strata pool, and I'm using a strict standard for myself. Because I'm aiming to have my open water before I leave for my upcoming backpacking trip, I'm probably testing before I'm 100% comfortable, but that's how it goes sometimes. This is the first time in a long time that I've had a formal learning process where I'm learning a skill where my life's in my own hands. Many would argue that I've taken many and greater risks while adventure traveling. That's probably true. But with this first part of the year off of adventure traveling, I've realized that I also had to take the time to re-level my risk assessment. That's something I've touched on before about how we humans are very primitively driven, and our brains often default to what Daniel Kahneman calls System 1, fast automatic thinking. While that system serves us in certain circumstances, I think I want to train myself to use System 2, which is slow, more rational, analytical thinking. How did I weave myself into this corner here? This is actually a good tip for people who sometimes suffer from postural sitting. I find it useful to just sit in different ways. This way is very opening for the hips and the muscles along the back of the legs. I've been known to just run conversations in interesting positions. After I've finished my ocean dives, if I continue with What the Fuck Wednesdays, which I likely will until I travel, I will try to document my exercise routine. Maybe I will create a program that integrates dream and goal setting. I'll likely do that as a paid event, but with live streaming. I'm still sorting all of this type of stuff out, how I want to proceed with my creativity and expressing it. Oh, this feels really good, the hip opening. Okay, I think I'm good for the week.